As stated in my last video, since it was a much darker and sadder video, I've created one with a bit more of a comical edge to it. We love to hear about the paranormal, the supernatural, and downright terrifying. We love to hear of grisly murders and have a morbid fascination with how the criminal mind works. But we forget that not everyone who commits a crime is a criminal mastermind. In this series, I'll be looking at the upstanding members of our society who are up there with the greats when it comes to being creative geniuses in the department of bloody stupid. The fools, the idiots, the morons and buffoons who provide the more honest members of the community with hours of entertainment. Welcome to GooT, Geniuses of Our Time, Volume 1. Now let's fire this off with a fine gent from the great community of Maesteg. Lee Kemp woke up one day in a good mood. He'd been messaging someone online and things were going well. Feeling in such a good mood, he decided to send them a video. He propped up his phone and directed a lens at himself. Once he'd finished recording, he sent the message to the object of his desire. Unfortunately, he'd entered the wrong recipient. This was where things happened to go wrong for Lee. He'd sent the video to a female council worker by mistake. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's not so bad, we've all done the wrong message to someone, and you'd be right. Wrong messages and autocorrect have been the source of entertainment since the mobile phone companies developed texting. However, the video that Lee had sent happened to be a video of him moaning and groaning while squatting on a large sex toy. As you can imagine, this didn't go down well with the council worker. We can all agree that if you're in a deplorable state of self-preservation by being cross-eyed through enough spirits to drown a household pet, you should not be behind the wheel of a car. Taxis can be extortionate at times, so designated drivers are always the more desired. Melissa Jenkins Johansson was relaxing on her settee when there was a knock at the door. She was surprised to see two officers outside who immediately arrested her for drink driving after noticing substantial damage to her car and being tipped off by a member of the public. Melissa was confused though. She shouldn't have been arrested. She hadn't been driving. Her designated driver had been driving. Quickly, the police began to investigate further, but ruled out the accusation since the designated driver, Lily, was in a worse state than Melissa. Lily couldn't even speak, probably because Lily is a dog. Safe to say, Melissa was arrested that day. It's unclear whether Lily was charged with reckless driving. It is always nice when someone who is a hard worker is proud of the work that they do, and advertising your business is always beneficial. However, not every job is a job to be proud of. Mark Whittingham decided to advertise his business by tattooing his company and phone number on his body. Unfortunately, the product he was peddling was high-grade cocaine. At least he'll be proud of this trade forevermore. Now this gent, I can confirm, saw the error of his ways. Daniel Jones of Cumbrawn decided that he'd try and earn a bit of extra cash. Unfortunately, his plan wasn't the greatest, and the execution of it even worse. Dan decided to hold up the reception of a travel lodge. He masked up and casually approached the reception and rang the buzzer. A short while later, the receptionist appeared. Dan then handed her a note saying, "I have a gun, give me the money." Calmly, the receptionist replied that she had to go off and get the cash from the back room, at which point she disappeared into the back room and locked the door. She then contacted the police and evacuated herself and her colleagues. At this point, the bungling criminal realised that she wasn't coming back and made a break for the exit. He turned himself in to the police a short time later with the understatement of the year, "I've done something stupid." Turns out, the gun that Daniel had rammed down his Bundys that day was a water pistol. With any luck though, Dan has managed to turn his life around. Now, our last two entries for the Walnut of Wales Award are for drunken shenanigans. First off, we're heading down under to old Queensland, Australia, where two of our boys were a bit worse for wear. Rhys Owen Jones and Kerry Mules had been out drinking one night when the light bulb went on in the barely recognisable folds of grey matter in one of the pair's empty heads. They decided it would be a great idea to break into SeaWorld on the Gold Coast. There, the pair swam like mermaids with dolphins, terrorised sharks with fire extinguishers, and, on the way out, stole Dirk the penguin. The next morning, the brainless pair woke up with the hangover from hell and a penguin running round their apartment. They panicked and tried to release poor Dirk into the wild. They were fortunately seen and reported. Poor Dirk was found under a jetty pylon shivering. Luckily for these two clowns, they were only given a fine. I wouldn't have been as lenient. And our final story is one that many would have heard. It made national news around not just Wales, but also Britain and the rest of the world. Here in Wales, we love our rugby. We love our team, we love our stadium. But more than all that, for me personally, I love the story of Andy Powell and his beloved golf buggy. For those of you who don't know this story, I shall regale it for you in all its glory. 2010. Wales have just won against Scotland 31-24, and the team was celebrating along with the rest of Wales until the early hours of the morning in the Vale Resort. Around 4 a.m, and in a not too fit state, old Andy realised that he had run out of cigarettes. He knew that it was unwise to operate a vehicle in the state he was in, so did what any sane person would do. He stole a golf buggy, and then decided to drive down one of the busiest motorways in Britain, the M4, to the services just outside Cardiff. He noticed that the buggy was starting to stutter and shudder and stall, so he took it upon himself to fill the old girl up with a bit of petrol. Where it went, Andy couldn't say, since the buggy was electric and he'd poured the fuel into the seat. He was arrested at the petrol station by a very amused police officer and taken for a McDonald's and a slap on the wrist. Now this story holds a warm place in my heart, as I remember watching the news next day with a hellish hangover, but laughing like a madman as the news reporter stated, with a straight face mind you, that Andy Powell had been celebrating with his teammates while showing this photo behind them. Andy, if you ever see this, know that you're a national treasure, boy. So there we go. A bit of a different episode for you today, and possibly a new segment on the channel. Who do you think won the much coveted Walnut of Wales Award? Answer in the comments below. And if you know of any bumbling criminals, send me the news articles for review. And I'll start up the segment all over again for Volume 2. Well, that's all from us here at Dark Entertainment. We hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, please drop us a comment on the video, like and subscribe. If you wish to get in contact, we are on X and Facebook. Or if you have a story or location that you would like us to look into, drop me an email at dark_entertainment@outlook.com. And remember, stay dark, stay creepy, and always laugh. Ta-ta!